Hello, and welcome to another episode of Walt Disney's Legacy Collection. Now, this one's a special two-parter because today the focus is on two Fantasias. Fantasia, the original classic, and Fantasia 2000. Now, Fantasia, the original classic, was released to theaters on November 13th, 1940, the same year Pinocchio got released, and it was first released as a theatrical roadshow held in U.S. cities starting at that time. While it was acclaimed by a lot of critics, it was unable to do a profit during World War II, cutting off distribution in European markets. But as a matter of fact, there were actually 7 sequences. Well, actually 8, because one of those is a two-parter. But one of the main sequences is The Sorcerer's Apprentice, starring Mickey Mouse. His sorcery attire was so well, it was used in introducing the 1986 Walt Disney Home Video logo and the 1988 Walt Disney Classics logo. Then, of course, it features the orchestra in the live-action sequences, as well as Deems Taylor and Leopold Stokowski. As a matter of fact, this film was originally 2 hours and 6 minutes. But then, of course, actually, one other thing. This was the first film to receive stereophonic sound, or it was called right here, in this case, Fantasound. Then in 1942, there was first reissue of that film, and they were getting it cut just a notch. And then in 1946, they had some cut down again, and it was 1 hour and 55 minutes. This would be the standard form of the next 3 releases. Then there was a couple more reissues, 1953, 1956, 1963, 1969, 1977, and then for the 1982 and 1985 releases, Fantasia was presented with a new soundtrack recorded in Dolby Stereo. And then in 1990, this film was released again once more, but this time during its 50th anniversary. And next to the cut 1946 edition, there was an end credits sequence added at the very end of this one. Now in 1991, this film was released to videocassette, and yes, they used the 1990 release of the 50th anniversary of this film. So let's take a look at that one, shall we? Alright. Here it is. Here it is. And this was released as a part of the Walt Disney Classics lineup. Now, after the film's release, Walt Disney made a promise that he would add more musical sequences in the future. Well, with that in mind, there was Make My Music and Melody Time that were kind of the standard follows. But then there was one sequel of Fantasia called Fantasia 2000. But we'll get to that later. Anyway, Fantasia was next restored on the 60th anniversary DVD, and yes, this was this time this was the 2-hour 5-minute edition, the uncut version. But because of the various cuts they made in those reissues, most of the track of Deems Taylor got lost. So, well, or rather, yet the audios did. So they had him redubbed by Corey Burton, a Disney veteran voice actor. So here's the 60th anniversary DVD of this one. This was released in 2000. Now then, Fantasia 2000 is the sequel of Fantasia, and it was released at theaters at Carnegie Hall on December 17th, 1999, in IMAX theaters in January 1st, 2000, and the rest of the United States on June 16th, 2000. And James Levine was the conductor for this film, and he was one of the introduction narrators as well. But there were some more, including Steve Martin, Itzhak Perlman, Quincy Jones, Bette Midler, James Earl Jones, Penn and Teller, and Angela Lansbury. And just like in the original, there were 7 sequences, including one sequence that's in the original Fantasia, The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Now, Pomp and Circumstance was another famous one, because this one included Donald Duck and Daisy Duck. This film was released to video and DVD just months later. So, how about we take a look at that one? Alright, here we are. And oh, just before the film, there is an introduction made by Roy Edward Disney as well. But here's the fronts, and then we got the sides, and here's the back. Oh, 2 of the bonus features in Fantasia 2000 are 2 of the adventure music shorts, both of which are Disney's first 3D cartoon and first cartoon in CinemaScope. First one is Melody, which was released in theaters on May 28th, 1953. And yes, that was Disney's first 3D cartoon. And Disney's first cartoon in CinemaScope is Toot Whistle Puck and Boom, which was released in theaters on November 10th, 1953. And both of those are also featured in Walt Disney Treasures Disney Rarities DVD as well. As a matter of fact, both those episodes came into one of Walt Disney's Presents episodes, Toot Whistle Plunk a Boom, which aired in 1959. Now, in 2010, in honor of Fantasia's 70th anniversary and Fantasia 2000's 10th anniversary, this was released as the 2-movie collection, 2-disc DVD and 4-disc DVD Blu-ray combo pack. So there are actually 2 discs each. Oh yes, and on the Blu-ray of Fantasia 2000, one of those very special features is Destino, which was released in 2003, and it was supposed to be on a 3rd unmade Fantasia film. So that one never got done, but thank goodness it was featured in this one, as were a couple of others. That one of those is featured in The Little Mermaid Platinum and Diamond editions, and of course the Walt Disney Studios short films collections, as were actually, I think as of one more that also was. Well, that's it for this episode. So, I'll see you on the next one. So long.